Life in the UK Test. Chapter 3, Section 5, Part 1. Disclaimer. This work is independent and non-official. It is a free help based on life in the United Kingdom, a guide for new residents, 3rd edition handbook. December 2015. Chapter 3, Section 5, Part 1. The 20th century. The First World War. The partition of Ireland, the First World War. The early 20th century was a time of optimism in Britain. The nation, with its expansive empire, well-admired navy, thriving industry and strong political institutions, was what is now known as a global superpower. It was also a time of social progress. Financial help for the unemployed, old age pensions and free school meals were just a few of the important measures introduced. Various laws were passed to improve safety in the workplace, town planning rules were tightened to prevent the further development of slums, and better support was given to mothers and their children after divorce or separation. Local government became more democratic and a salary for members of parliament, MPs, was introduced for the first time, making it easier for more people to take part in public life. This era of optimism and progress was cut short, when war broke out between several European nations. On the 28th of June 1914, Archduke Franz Ferdinand of Austria was assassinated. This set off a chain of events leading to the First World War, 1914 to 1918. But while the assassination provided the trigger for war, other factors, such as a growing sense of nationalism in many European states, increasing militarism, imperialism, and the division of the major European powers into two camps, all set the conditions for war. The conflict was centered in Europe, but it was a global war involving nations from around the world. Britain was part of the Allied powers, which included, amongst others, France, Russia, Japan, Belgium, Serbia, and later, Greece, Italy, Romania and the United States. The whole of the British Empire was involved in the conflict. For example, more than 1 million Indians fought on behalf of Britain in lots of different countries, and around 40,000 were killed. Men from the West Indies, Africa, Australia, New Zealand and Canada also fought with the British. The Allies fought against the Central Powers, mainly Germany, the Austro-Hungarian Empire, the Ottoman Empire and later Bulgaria. Millions of people were killed or wounded, with more than 2 million British casualties. One battle, the British attack of the Somme in July 1916, resulted in about 60,000 British casualties on the first day alone. The First World War ended at 11 a.m. on 11th of November 1918 with victory for Britain and its allies. The partition of Ireland. In 1913, the British government promised Home Rule for Ireland. The proposal was to have a self-governing Ireland with its own parliament, but still part of the UK. A Home Rule Bill was introduced in Parliament. It was opposed by the Protestants in the north of Ireland, who threatened to resist Home Rule by force. The outbreak of the First World War led the British government to postpone any changes in Ireland. Irish nationalists were not willing to wait, and in 1916 there was an uprising, the Easter Rising, against the British in Dublin. The leaders of the uprising were executed under military law. A guerrilla war against the British Army and the police in Ireland followed. In 1921 a peace treaty was signed, and in 1922 Ireland became 2 countries. The 6 countries in the north, which were mainly Protestant, remained part of the UK under the name Northern Ireland. The rest of Ireland became the Irish Free State. It had its own government and became a republic in 1949. There were people in both parts of Ireland who disagree with the split between the north and the south. They still wanted Ireland to be one independent country. Years of disagreement led to a terror campaign in Northern Ireland and elsewhere. The conflict between those wishing for full Irish independence and those wishing to remain loyal to the British government is often referred to as the Troubles. Study materials. All chapters from the study materials are Crown copyright and have been based on Life in the United Kingdom, a guide for new residents 3rd edition handbook. All photos are borrowed from wikipedia.org under the Creative Commons Attribution Share Alike 3.0 unported. This work is independent and non-official, prepared in December 2015.